Hello, everyone. Welcome to Developing Palates. I am Aaron Loomis, and with me, as always, is Jiunn Liu. How you doing, Jiunn?
Doing good.
So today we are talking about the Sacra Folium Fractal Prensado. Cigar is 5.5 inches by 54 ring gauge. Comes out of the Races Cubanas factory in Honduras. The wrapper is Viso Honduras. The binder is Corojo Viso Jalapa Nicaraguan and Corojo 99 Seco Esteli Nicaragua. Filler is Ligero Creo 98 from Jalapa, Condega, and Esteli, and also Viso 2006 Corojo, Honduras. It's blended by Boris Grossman and Matt Airy, and the cigar was released in July of 2016, and price point is $10.20. So with those details out of the way, June, what was your pre-light experience like?
Um, Within the look of the cigar, I thought the wrapper had a pretty attractive, smooth wrapper that when you hold it up to the light, it has this like really nice rustic red hue to it. Veins, for the most part, pretty well pressed with the exception of a couple of minor veins. Seems tight and visible. Head finish off with a really well applied triple cap. That was really thick too, so always good. In terms of the nosy experience and the pre-light draw, when I smell the wrapper, I got leather, fresh barnyard, and faint cedar. When I smell the foot, I got sweet and spicy cedar mixed with the rich nuttiness, cold draw, cedar, balanced white pepper, and dried nuts. So overall, a good pre-light experience.
Yeah, the wrapper was medium brown, a few veins visible because they carried a little bit of a slightly lighter color to them. The seams were visible but smooth. There are three caps. Top cap was slightly lifting on my sample. Cigar has two bands, the standard company band and then the foot band that has the line name on it. Aroma for the wrapper was a mix of leather and construction paper, while the foot gave a nice mix of leather and hay. And the pre-light draw was a mix of leather and some tobacco sweetness as well. So flavor-wise, what was your experience like?
First third, primary notes consisted of a oak wood paired with a medium body sweet cream. Also picking up some dry nuts and a layered, like a very smooth and easygoing kind of black pepper, spice, and heat. Through retrohaling, I got deeper notes of and really full flavor notes of black pepper, dry nuts, sweet cream, and toast. Finish, I would say the finish is my favorite part, which rarely happens on a cigar, but the finish provided a lot of like lingering, like smooth black pepper, sweet cream, and toast. Body and strength at the medium point. Going on to the second third. Second third show less complexities, especially on the retro finish. Mouth draws is more oak and dry nuts focused, as compared to the first third where I thought it was more like wood and that sweet cream based formula. The sweet cream also died down quite a bit by probably like 40 to 50% or so. Black pepper spice still well balanced and layered. Retro lost its sweet creaminess quite a bit in the toast, and is now mainly just like a rich black pepper and dry nuts. Finish also dining complexity, more of a generic oak and dry nuts based. Strength and body still at that medium level. Moving on to the last third. I say the primary difference between that second third and that last third is the increase in black pepper spice. I mean, increase, yes, but it's by no means, strong or dominant aspect of it. But it's definitely a noticeable increase in spice. Further, I started getting some intermittent fashion, notes of baking spices, which I really dug, but unfortunately, it was just like a on and off kind of a thing, on and going things. It wasn't an ongoing thing. Remaining notes of oak, dry nuts, less distinguishable. Sweet cream was still there. Retro still maintained that same richness in black pepper and dry nuts. Finish made up of oak, dry nuts, and a slightly wooded bitterness to it. Strength and body still finish out at the medium point. So.
Yeah, initial draws brought a mix of slightly sweet cedar and some middle black pepper. And then after a few draws, that sweetness went away and kind of left an even mix of cedar and pepper. At half an inch in, some cream joined with that peppery cedar. And the retrohale was primarily cedar with a little bit of pepper in the background. An inch in, pepper recedes quite a bit, kind of making it just an accompanying note while the cedar took front stage. And then an inch and a quarter, the pepper increased a bit to just slightly below even with the cedar. And then as the third was coming to a close, that pepper settled back down and the cream kind of rejoined with the cedar. And the strength level was just slightly above medium. And then getting the second third, the cream kind of continued to increase as the cedar and the pepper were maintaining their levels. And then at a quarter inch in, there was an even mix of the cedar, the cream, and the pepper. And the pepper was creating a little bit of a tickle in the back of my throat. The retrohale consisted of a slightly dry cedar. And then at half an inch in, the pepper and the cream fade back, leaving that slightly drying cedar up front. And then at an inch in, the cream increased a little bit, but it was still primarily dry cedar up front. Retrohale was just straight cedar, not carrying any more of that, any of that drying sensation to it. And as the third was coming to a close, that slightly drying cedar was still up front with a little bit of that cream in the background. And the strength had bumped up a little bit to be medium full. And then getting the final third, the cedar was no longer drying. There was still some cream in the background, and there was a little bit of bitterness that kind of joined in as well. And then at half an inch in, the bitterness had slowly been increasing while the cedar kind of remained up front, and it was supported by that cream. Retrohale kind of transitioned back to that slightly drying cedar. And then at 3/4 of an inch in, the cedar transitioned to oak, and the bitterness was continuing to increase, kind of pushed the cream out of the profile there. And then an inch in, a little bit of cream came back, so that reduced the bitterness a little bit, but the oak was what was remaining up front, and that's kind of how the cigar finished out, and the strength kind of remained at that medium full level. So performance-wise, what was your experience like?
It was good. So both burn and draw were good. In terms of the draw, the only real complaint that I had was the ash marks being a little flaky. But aside from that, really good burn. Slow and cool burning with ash marks holding pretty strong for 1.5-inch increments. The draw, just slightly snug for me, but nonetheless, it was still really good. So really great constructed cigar.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the burn alternated between razor sharp and slightly wavy, but never needed any attention from the lighter, so that was good. And ash was holding on in 1.25-inch increments. Draw was just slightly tighter than I prefer. Not a big gripe or anything like that. Just a slightly difference from what I consider perfect. So overall, what were your thoughts?
I thought that from when I first toasted a cigar, and from that first draw up until the end of that first third, I really liked it, and I really felt like this had a lot of promise. Especially that mixture, that oak and that sweet cream and the really balanced black pepper and that toast-like breadiness. Like that, when I describe those notes in a, when they mingle together, such as what the first third of this one did for me, I loved it. But unfortunately, starting from the second third, it just kind of died down in complexities and nuances, and kind of continued all the way through until the end of the cigar. So, given that, I'd say it was an average experience for me overall. But and then you really pair that by like really good construction. I mean, it's worth a shot for you for most folks to try out there. So.
Yeah, and the cigar started with a nice mix of flavors and transitions, but then it just kind of settled into like a standard creamy cedar profile. Strength was medium plus the whole way, so maybe more experienced smokers would be more comfortable with it. Solid construction was definitely a help to the cigar, like you mentioned, but I just need a little bit more from the flavor profile to really keep me interested the whole way. I think it's worth for people to try, like you said, try one and see what they think. If I was handed one, I would definitely smoke it, but I don't know that I'd necessarily go out and searching for one to smoke. So, getting into the scoring, you and I scored the cigar identically in every category, and that resulted into a 6 even for both of us. So, how do you think?
Yay, a first. Wait, this is the first, right?
I think it's the first time we scored a cigar dead even. So, how do you think that matched up with your experience?
After what, 120 some cigars reviewed for us? It matches up perfectly to my experience. I went from good first third, average second and last third, to overall very good construction, and that's what I expect. So
Yep. Yeah, I can't say much since we scored it identical. I mean, that's just what it was. It was a good first third and then kind of average rest of the way. Really good construction, so that pumped it up a little bit. So that's nice. Um, so it kind of seems to be the trend with this with the different lines from Sacra Folium, kind of this around this range of scoring so far. We got two more to go, so
Right.
we'll see how they score as well. Any other final thoughts from you?
I was just gonna say, kind of, and on that same note, is I was one of the probably very few people came out of last year's IPCPR be like, oh, Sacra Folium, we got to watch out for this brand.
Right.
But so far, it's been subpar to average, right? So, like you said, we got a couple more to go. So hopefully, high hopes for those.
Right. Well, if you're just catching this video on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to us, but also go to the website, developingpalates.com, to read the full written review. Make sure you follow us on all the social media channels, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Google+. You can also catch all of our review recaps on podcasts, so iTunes, Google Play, and Podbean. Thank you for tuning in, and we will catch you on the next one.